Praises to Yahweh Bahasham, Yahweh Shai Bahasham Rakha Kodash. Double honor to the apostles and elders, a great millstone that rule well, labouring the word and doctrine. Shalom and peace. May that be unto the elect of the nation of Israel. Now this will be a quick hit from Matthew chapter 12 and touching on the idea that the law is not done away. The law is not done away with, but we are not saved by the works of the law. And so Lord willing, it be edifying. Matthew chapter 12 and start verse 1. It says, at that time Yahweh Shai went out on the Sabbath day through the corn, and his disciples were an hungered, and began to pluck the ears of corn and to eat. But when the Pharisees saw it, they said unto him, behold, thy disciples do that which is not lawful to do upon the Sabbath day. So technically, if you want to be technical, right, there's even men that are put to death for picking up sticks, on the Sabbath day. So is it lawful? Well, we're going to read. Right, verse 12, it says, but he said unto them, have you not read what David did? What's David known for? Known for having his heart perfect with the Lord Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai, except in the cause of Uriah the Hittite, or his wife, that adulterous act. But the Lord had mercy upon him, even the sure mercies of David, which is what we're looking for in this time. Have you not read what David did when he was an hungered, and they that were with him, how he entered into the house of the Most High, and did eat the shewbread, which was not lawful for him to eat, neither for them which were with him, but only for the priests? And I believe that's when it talked about, is he with, what did it say now? Yeah, have they stayed away from women? Because the seed of copulation would make one unclean. I believe that's the story it's going into. I'd have to revisit that. So fact check me on that. But so technically it wasn't lawful for him to eat. But the Messiah, the word of the Most High, is basically, he's not saying it's good to do unlawful acts, but he's showing the hypocrisy of the Pharisees. It's the same ones that would go after someone because their ox went astray, their sheep went astray, and they follow him. Which was not lawful for them to eat, neither for them which were with him, but only for the priests, and he wasn't a priest. Said, or have you not read in the law how that on the Sabbath day the priests in the temple profane the Sabbath and are blameless? Because even to cook on the Sabbath, you're technically breaking the Sabbath. But that was their duty. So he's showing the hypocrisy of the Pharisees. Not all Pharisees, but a great, a large proportion of them. You apply it to today, 2/3 of the Israelites in Babylon the Great will be put to death. And you can extrapolate that out because it says many more will perish than them that are saved. So you can extrapolate that past, just Babylon the Great. It says, but I say unto you that in this place is one greater than the temple. So who's greater than the temple? Or what's greater than the temple? He said, but if you had known what this meaneth, I will have mercy and not sacrifice, you would not have condemned the guiltless. Right, so there's, he spoke on, was it Matthew 23:23? He spoke about you Pharisees. You're doing, you're omitting the weightier matters of the law. Judgment, mercy, faith, so on and so forth. It says verse 8, for the Son of Man is Lord even of the Sabbath day. So that doesn't mean that the Sabbath's done away with. Yahweh Shai is the Lord even indeed. That's what it means, the Old English word meaning indeed of the Sabbath day. But again, we're not saved by the works of the law. I feel like I've touched on this topic a lot recently, but it's necessary, it's important, man. Because you've got groups, guys calling themselves teaching the flock, but they put in yokes, that neither them nor their fathers could bear. Right, Ephesians chapter 2, verse 7 and 8. That in the ages to come he might shew the exceeding riches of his grace in his kindness toward us through Yahweh Shai HaMashiach Yahweh Shai. For by grace he is saved through faith, and that not of yourselves is the gift of the Most High, not of works, lest any man should boast. So we can never say, well, I kept the Sabbath, so therefore I deserve salvation. It's according to the election, and ultimately it's according to mercy, because we're all guilty, of breaking at least one law in our lifetime, and that's being very conservative or liberal. I don't mean politically. That's been either given a lot of leeway, or that's given a lot of leeway to us to say we've only committed one, sin at least worthy unto death. I can speak on myself. Before I knew this truth, I committed adultery. I was a sorcerer. I was into all manner of wickedness. But we have to become that new man, that new woman, and put on Yahweh Shai HaMashiach, man. Put on this word. Put on how it talks about the breastplate of faith, the this, the that. All of these attributes which are the full armor of Yahweh Bahasham Yahweh Shai, man. You know, I'm not trying to mate it with anything else. You know, you can look into, if you've got a good base, you know, you can look into these different philosophies, doctrines, ideologies, you know, but you need to have a good grounding. You need to be able to have a qanaa, a canon, that you're measuring it up against. You know, but the point of this lesson is just a quick hit that, you know, we're not saved by the law, but it doesn't mean the Sabbath's done away with. You know, you've got to understand Proverbs 11:1, which reads what? A false balance is abomination to Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, but a just weight is his delight. You know, so not being too polarized, being too extreme, you know, on matters, but taking the nuance into account and doing just judgment, fair judgment, right? In this, especially in these times, there's a lot of polarization, a lot of it's either this or it's that, when not everything is a this or a that. You have balance with that because you have to let your yea be yea and your nay be nay, you know, but there's not, certain topics aren't all one way. You know, like if we're coming from a biblical perspective, well, it's not all, and I mentioned earlier, you know, politically conservative, politically liberal. Well, biblically, there's concepts in both of those, you know, ideologies that are going to be sound doctrine. You know, when you really go into the policies there. For example, a liberal politically may agree with the biblical law of, you know, once you go over the grapes of your vineyard, you know, you can't go back over again, but they're left for the fatherless, the poor, however it's phrased, of your people. That's not a bad, you know, thing. I'm sure they would agree with that. You know, and then the more, you know, pressing issues of modesty, you know, within a society, maybe those that are more politically conservative would agree with. But again, we can't be polarized, you know, by these concepts. We have to come biblically, rightly dividing the word of truth. It's not about what's popular, it's about what's right. You know, and that's the mentality to instill in ourselves, you know, through going through these scriptures and applying it. You know, not just talking, going on and being a brute. You know, it's about applying it. So I said I'll be short, so I'll leave it there. On to the next one, Lord, and I pray it was edifying, exhorting, or at least someone got something out of it. Okay, on to the next one, Lord willing. All praises to Yahweh, Bahasham Yahushai, Bahasham Ruach HaKodesh. Shalom.